As I prepare for my fifth and probably final book, The Show Must Go On, I'm working on a series of stories from my sales career that are going to really help inform this final entry. Number one, how I became an accidental salesperson. Look, I had no idea what I wanted to do after college. I think that's true of a lot of folks. I worked for a community grocery store for many, many years, and was perfectly content. I spent a lot of time with friends, and kind of did what I wanted for the most part. I had no idea how fortunate I was at that time. I moved to a big city, in this case, St. Louis. At the time, because my best friend at the time, my girlfriend at the time, they were moving, and I thought it seemed like the thing to do. Still didn't know what I wanted to do. I actually transferred with that grocery store. It was time to spread my wings, and I started exploring. I know there's an old adage about it all being about who you know, how important that is. My friend's aunt actually helped me get an interview for a role where she worked, and so I got the interview, went through the process, and I found out when I started training that it wasn't the customer service role that I thought it was going to be. It's actually pretty intense sales. I'd never been in sales before, had no real desire one way or another to get into sales. I was actually pretty intimidated by the concept of working in sales. But hey, here I was, right? I was in this training for a sales role. 12 people started in that training class. 2 made it out. The only 2 in the class that were from what was considered off the street, right? So there weren't internal hires. Everyone else had what they called retreat rights, and they all went back to their prior role. So this other individual and I made it out of training. At one point, I told my parents and my friend's aunt that I couldn't do it, that this wasn't for me. Our trainers, and the managers there didn't mince words when they knew that people weren't a fit for the role, but they always seemed pretty optimistic about me. So I took that little level of encouragement, and I stuck it out because I had nowhere else to go. I hung in there. I battled doubt, nervousness, and fear. Literally mid-training, the whole call center shifted focus, and we had to start training all over again. So the light was, we were near the light at the end of the tunnel, and then we had to start from scratch. So a lot of stops and starts, lots of new experiences, and a knowledge that this may not pan out for me. But I graduated training into a call center that had really low morale. A lot of the folks doubted their managers and the direction that they were being asked to go in general in this group. The veterans of the call center were in my ear all the time about why they didn't give their all. They would always have their reasons and their excuses as to why they didn't give it 100%. But I decided early on, if there's a number next to my name on a report, it was always going to be my best effort, no matter what was going on around me, no matter how hard it was, all of those things. So I gave it my all. I vividly remember reading off this script to get my first sale. I closed my eyes after I said the closing question, and the customer said yes. And it was like developing a muscle. It took a bit, but over time it became something that became more natural. God gave me some gifts, and one of them was the ability to talk quickly and to listen and quickly assess what challenges people were facing, and to articulate things in a way that could help people understand the value that was being conveyed. The other thing that I learned how to do very quickly was understand the parameters, the playing field, how I got paid, how my team got paid, what my managers cared about. And so I was obsessed about delivering great exemplary service to my customers, but also figuring out how do I translate that into a system where my team and I get paid. Month 1 in the center, I was a top rep in the office. There were other comers. I think people kind of were shocked when I was going to they had a big sales board. and I'd get to put my stuff on pause and walk over to the sales board and update it with my sale. Caught a lot of people's attention, good and bad. Seeing me make that march to the sales board more than anybody else in the business. It was very gratifying. It was invigorating. And I remember starting to get those first paychecks that dwarfed what I made in years at the grocery store. Every quarter, I won Fortune 500, top 5% of reps in the business. Every year, eligible, I won President's Club, got to go on trips, got to travel, got a lot of accolades and recognition. Got a lot of gifts. I remember back in those days, you'd win contests. There'd be a lot of call center contests. I won so much stuff that outfitted my apartment. Got a lot of fond memories of that. Met a lot of great people. Had a lot of great lessons. I had paid the first of a never-ending cycle of dues, and I was a salesperson. I am a salesperson.